Testing, testing. Is this thing on? Welcome to the Daily What Ifs. UFO disclosure won't happen, will it? Let's find out on this Daily What Ifs. Well, we're back for another one here on the UFO disclosure won't happen, will it, on the Daily What Ifs. Today on Visual Disturbance channel, we're going to talk about some things, like I always bring up, some thought-provoking, gear-turning conversations. So I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for being here, and welcome to the Visual Disturbance channel. Well, here's my thought on this before getting to the what-if part of it. Think about the UFOs, aliens, and the whole narrative and everything we brought up here on the disclosure stance. And I would say, here's my take. Disclosure happened a long time ago. When you think about the fallen angels and the oath that they took on Mount Hermon, and you look at the book of Enoch, and you look at like what has happened throughout the humanity stance, thousands and thousands of generations, you have all these different... did I say thousands and thousands of generations? But you got thousands and thousands of years, and there's this huge gap of understanding where people seem to believe that this is new information, this disclosure stance, right, with the aliens, the UFOs. Well, you can go through the biblical stance. You can go, and think about the Genesis 6 narrative. You can go into ancient Samaritan, different writings of ancient cultures and civilizations that came and went, and they talk about different things to do with UFOs, things flying in the sky, star gods, star people, the whole ball of wax. And you mean to tell me we're going to be sitting here in 2025 and think that this stuff has never happened? And there's nothing new under the sun. That's what the Bible says. But it's just interesting that people cannot grasp that reality. I'm talking about the people that are in the know, the people that are in the mainstream media, the people that are at the supposedly these high stature positions and teaching and trying to disclose this information. It's interesting to me, very interesting, that the narrative, it just keeps getting regurgitated and refabricated and literally presented to the public through all these different cycles of generational, I guess, time frames. We can talk about the 1940s. We can talk about documentation that's freely given. It's in the FOIA documents that talk about flying rolls, talking about, now I didn't say bread, I didn't say rolls like a piece of bread, I'm talking about a flying cylinder-like object. You have cylinder-shaped objects, you have circle-shaped objects, triangle-shaped objects, which is re-engineered human stance on it, re-engineered craft that we have the capability of having from ancient fallen angel technology, aka what they call it now, aliens. So the disclosure had already happened when it came to the fallen angels and the sons of God made with the daughters of men, and they bore giants because it was literally attack on the, let's just say, human stance on the human genome. They wanted to throw a little wrench in the motor, so to speak. And that's when you have the nephilim before the flood and the Raphaim after the flood. And you have these incursions of these narratives of giants that roam the earth. It's so compelling and so interesting. So let's get into somebody that's in the know. Let's get into somebody that's in the know and talk about this individual for a minute. Mark Rubio. So previously stated that UAP disclosure might be the biggest story in human history, and has now been made director of the U.S. NAT Archives, which is also an organization responsible for declassifying UAP information under the UAP Disclosure Act. Well, let's talk about Mr. Rubio. I have nothing to say negative about him at all. So I hope Marco Rubio, I didn't mean to mess his name up there, I'm getting tongue-tied. Marco Rubio, I hope he does a well job of doing this. He's been a whistleblower. He's been a person of high stature trying to speak about this, I think, way back 2017, talking about these military bases, and these craft was shutting down these military bases that had nuclear codes, etc. It's just interesting. So let's talk about Mr. Rubio here for a minute. UAP task force. So he's been taking a key role in pushing for establishment of the former UAP task force in 2020. He was an acting chairman of the Senate Intelligence Community. He included provisions of Intelligence Authorization Act for the feasible year of 2021, requesting a detailed analysis of UAP data from the Office of the Naval Intelligence Identified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. Rubio has publicly stated that he takes the issue seriously, primarily from a national security perspective. He has emphasized that sightings by military personnel should be investigated because they could represent advanced technology from adversaries or unknown sources. He's an advocate for a mature approach to understanding UAP, suggesting that the stigma around the UFOs should not hinder serious investigation. Rubio has been linked to discussions regarding like whistleblowers, right? So in 2023, Rubio confirmed to News Nation that he had heard firsthand accounts from the individuals in high government positions collaborating claims made by UFO whistleblower David Grush, who alleged the existence of a secret UFO retrieval program. Rubio emphasized the need to protect these whistleblowers and to approach the claims without jumping to conclusions. And then as far as the media, when he appearances in the media, Rubio appeared on various media outlets. He discussed on the topic of Fox News, CBS, 60 Minutes, and other things about the transparency investigation due to the potential national security implications. So, based off his point of view, his specific points, he's talking about security concerns. Rubio has framed his interest in the UAP primary as a matter of national security, suggesting that unknown aerial phenomenon could represent technological advancements by adversaries. And then Rubio has been investigating and involved in pushing legislation that would increase transparency by UAP. This includes the requirement of an unclassified report of UAP, which was part of the 2021 Intelligence Authorization Act. And he's also a big advocate for protections of the coming out of the whistleblowers and protecting them, and especially the 2022 National Defense Authorization Act, including whistleblower provisions regarding the UAP. So when you think about this and really ponder on the idea that the public and everybody in the government and Marco Rubio, forgive me, I'm off my game today. But so when you're thinking about this in the government and everything involved with these UFOs and this serious security concerns, he's literally pushing for transparency on this phenomenon. So here's a what if, the what if factor here. And guess what? On the Visual Disturbance channel, I speak a lot about controversial topics, and I've said this before on the what ifs. Some cases I'll bring up, I guess let's just say me being speculation on my part. That's why I called it the what ifs, right? That's why I formatted this show to be called the what ifs. So I'm just letting everybody know that and bring that to everybody's attention again, because I get a lot of flack for telling my spin when I bring actual receipts and the conversation flows. So I just literally go with my thoughts on it, So continue on. So here's my thoughts on the what if. So what if Marco Rubio has a point? What if he knows top tier clearance and he has all these government agencies and everybody's involved? What if this is all to do with like some huge cover up on an interdimensional concept? What if it's a huge big cover up with Stargates, and I've been talking and trying to figure out what the Stargate coordinates are? No joke. Big shout out to Elon Musk. I've been trying to get a hold of him to give him, or for him to give me the locations to the star forts and the Stargate coordinates. No joke. There's some star forts that I've not been able to map out. I got quite a few. Well, not more. Well, it's more than few. I've got hundreds and hundreds, probably in the thousands of star forts all over this great Earth. But I've been looking for some underneath the Earth. So there you go. So get back to the disclosure. They're talking about summoning UFOs and orbs with your mind. They're talking about the human connection with it. people have speculated online that it's Atlantean technologies, the security system of the great Dyson spheres, which is ridiculous and insanity, all in the same. It's literally, you throw it up against the wall and it's all the same rhetoric and same insanity. And then with Marco Rubio here, trying to push for this, and there's a lot of people pushing for this when it comes to these high stature people in the, in the higher ups. And I really do hope that the transparency in this phenomenon comes out. But see, here's the thing, it's already has. So at the very beginning of the program, we talked about the Genesis, talking about the biblical narrative. We're talking about the sons of God made with the daughters of men. We're talking about the first disclosure. And throughout civilizations, the Mayans, the Incas, the whole flock, everybody has got evidence of communicating with these, let's just say, extraterrestrial, Palladian, tall, white, blue-eyed, blonde-hair, red-headed giants, whatever they are. And the Indians, the Native Americans, knew what the cost was when they present them, these creatures or whatever they are, these fallen entities would present themselves. They would ask for something, and then they would get, it's a con, right? They was conning these Indian, the Native Americans. Before you know it, they give them, they would give them technology, give them understanding how to forge, archery, different swords, and different tactical arrangements to do with the Indian culture to be able to be more advanced Indian Native American culture. But at the end, before you know it, like I've talked about here a lot on the Visual Disturbance channel, over and over again, the giants would show up and come out of the woods and take the women and the children, and then the populations would get wiped out because they couldn't repopulate. But see, when you talk about the Manakuwabu, you talk about the Greys, you talk about all this, these different types of characters and different things that's coming in our earth and been going to and fro in our earth for a long time, and you get into the inner earth and different concepts with the reality of stargates and tunnel systems, people start to freak out and they say, well, you're disinformation specialist. Well, that's not what I'm doing at all. Literally, I'm just trying to bring stuff to light here on the What Ifs program. And basically what I'm saying on the What Ifs today, what if Marco Rubio, what if the powers that be, people that is even above here, and these cosmic clearance generals that you hear about all the time, it's like 12, 13 levels above the president. You have to sit there and ponder on the idea that there's people in the know that have everything, like every bit of knowledge, every bit of understanding when it comes to technological advancements. So the disclosure's already happened. It's just close-knit. There's close-knit for these people that have been, let's just say, coveting their information, and they're just not letting the people know. And we've been, to the masses, we've been literally lied to, like, for a long time. But like I said, if you can just do just a basic, overview of all these cultures, civilizations. They talk about these craft. They talk about the cylinder-shaped objects. They talk about these astronaut-looking beings that show up. The Patagonian giants talking about these the way they understood to talk to the Spaniard, and was showing him in detail and illustrating how this astronaut, this man in a suit, it looked like an astronaut. Go back and look at that. It's pretty compelling. And this is the 1400s. You got a Spaniard trying to articulate what this giant was talking to him about. So it is kind of interesting that you see these astronaut-like suit, like humans, show up all over these megalithic structures, and they look like they've been 3D printed onto a pillar or whatever, and piece of granite. And it's just interesting to me that this stuff has already happened. But there's something going on. We got time travel capability, which I'm still on the fence with. And I think this is what, Marco Rubio is stating here, by the biggest story in history, with all this nonsense going on with interdimensional travel, these concepts of speed of light travel, different transportations, different things with the AI communications to advance humanity. Literally, folks, it's a powder keg getting ready to explode, and there's misinformation. But if you stay and really focus and really stay coordinated on the matter, and you look at the UFO documents from the 40s, you go back and look at all the documentations in Egypt back in the literally Thutmose the third, I think, was talking about to his priest, why were these craft in the sky for several days. Well, then you go back and reiterate, you go back to the New Jersey narrative with the orbs and everything, and they're using these so-called orbs for surveillance or some kind of special tactic, some type of system. Who knows? But I will say this before I let you go. That disclosure's already happened. It's just this is in 2025, and the masses have been so gaslighted and so defragmented in their brain and being predictive programming in movies. They don't even know what the past holds, and they're always looking for somebody else to spoon feed them and give them information that is freely given. But it's called, I guess, let's just say sleight of hand, and these people have the power to somehow manipulate the mind to a degree where people get so miscombobulated that they can't even face reality. So, with that being said, I hope Mr. Rubio knocks it out of the park. I hope he gets everything he needs as far as the transparency of it. But I would just say here on the what ifs, I believe it's already happened. But we're just getting another regurgitated small inkling of it that's happened years ago, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. And that's why there's just missing gaps in all kinds of different things. When you look at 500 to 1,000 years ago, there's missing time and missing fragments. But, I guess that's where all the documents are. They're over in the Vatican. Maybe that's what it is, folks. Maybe they're just hoarding up all this information and making it all just happy-go-lucky. So with that being said, if you like the what ifs today, a little bit off my game today, I kid you not, I actually, because I have some teeth issues, just to throw us out here, I literally bit my tongue the other day. You can't make this stuff up. And I don't have a what if to talk about that. I'm just saying I bit my tongue, and now it's kind of hard to speak sometimes on doing these programs. So hopefully it'll heal up soon, and I won't have the little boomhauer redneck country slang and sound like I've, got a, let's just say a big thing of dip in my mouth. But I don't dip, but maybe that's what it sounds like sometimes. So everybody be blessed. Welcome to the Visual Disturbance channel. I'll see you in the next Daily What Ifs. Comment below in the description box. Let me know what you guys think on the UFO disclosure. Won't happen, will it? That's the question. Comment below and let me know what you think on my idea and the thoughts that I threw at the table today. Wonder if there is something to it. Wonder if it's already happened and we're just getting a regurgitated rendition of it now. That's my point. That's my take on it. But what's your all's take? So thank you all for being part of the Visual Disturbance community. I'll see you on the next one. Welcome to the Daily What Ifs. Until next time, Visual Disturbance, I'm out.
Got one that can see.